Okay, today I am replacing a thermostat in a 99 Honda CR-V, and the reason I'm replacing it is because I drive the thing down the road and the dial on the dashboard stays right where you see it the whole time. While I've got the heater on. If I turn the heater off, it actually will climb to the position that it normally is in, but if I turn the heater back on, it actually dips back down. So that leads me to believe that it is the thermostat, and also the gas mileages went down. So two good indicators that you have a bad thermostat. Okay, I failed to mention inside the car that also the heater is not heating, so there's another reason that you probably have a bad thermostat. So what I'm going to do, because I've done this before and I know it's easy, I'm going to take this whole air filter housing out all the way to the throttle body. So I can have good access to the thermostat. The thermostat is down here, if you can see my hand, down in this area, underneath the throttle body. Kind of hard to get to if you don't take all that stuff out. So I've got two screws here. It will lift up after you take those two screws out. You also have to take this line here off, and then you have to loosen the band at the throttle body. Also, while I was doing that, I've already drained my radiator. So as you can see, I got all this thing loose from the throttle body. I slid the pipe out and took the two screws loose, and it's hard to do this with one hand, and it pulls right out. So you can see I have very easy access now. So after I got the air filter assembly out, you can see that I've actually got access to my throttle body, and it would be a good idea for me to clean that while I got it out. So I will do that with some carburetor cleaner, and I've got as good access down here to my thermostat. So as you can see, the thermostat is located to the lower right hand side of the throttle body, standing on the passenger side. And the other reason to take the filter, air filter assembly out, is I can now inspect my hoses really good. All these hoses down here, to see if I got any problems whatsoever. Beside the fact that it's the only way I can see that you can get real good access to everything you need to get to the thermostat. Okay, I have removed the ground, and then I removed the sensor, and I have placed those to the side. Here they are. I did that in that order. Then I removed the hose, as you can see. It's over here. And then, see if my mirror will help. But anyway, maybe you can see that. There's a screw underneath here If you blow this up, you probably can. I can see it. But anyway, and then there is a screw over here. You can see I haven't. Hopefully you can see it. Just get out of the way. It's a screw over here. Those are both 10mm screws, and they're very difficult to get to. So I used these two, and I pried the opening in with the rusted piece I had. It actually worked pretty good because of the offset. It worked very well. Now, if you have one of these ratcheting box ends, I think that would work very well. I have one somewhere, but it has ran off to Egypt, I guess. So I'm going to finish taking my screw out and get my thermostat out. Okay, here it is out. The connection. Again, these are all 10mm screws. I screwed my ground back in there. I have always found these the vent holes in my car is good staging area for screws. But I'm going to attempt to take this out while I have the video on for you. It should come out, I guess. I've done this in older model cars, changing thermostats, but I am not experienced at doing this. I'll just admit to you. So I'm watching videos just like you're watching this one, I guess, and watching people plunder through this kind of thing. And it's not wanting to come with my one hand, so I'm going to Okay, as you can see, Honda's supplied me with the same thing. That's why you get Honda parts. This is one of the things that I will not get an aftermarket part for. The thermostats operate a whole lot differently. You can watch some videos online with Eric the car guy and a bunch of other guys on this, but they will tell you do not get aftermarket parts, only OEM Honda type parts. So anyway, I took note of how this came out, what position it was in, whether my thermostats look the same. This is a used vehicle, so somebody could have put an aftermarket part in, that kind of thing. I'm taking note of how the gasket fits on the thermostat. So I guess this doesn't look in too particularly bad shape, but I hope this is the problem. But anyway, we will see. I learned something anyway, and it didn't cost me that much. Okay, this is the old one. This is the new one. If you notice, it sits a little bit higher right here. Came from Honda. Told them my model number, everything, so better work. I think, if I'm looking at this right, it does appear to be stuck in the open position, and plus the gasket on this side has some wear on it, so I'm very hopeful that this is my problem. Okay, before I put my thermostat in place, I'm going to put the drain plug back in my radiator, so my feeble mind don't forget to do that. So I was going to show you what that looks like. And of course it goes, if you're facing the car from this way, goes on the right side down on the bottom. as you would expect a drain to do. Come back to you in just a little bit. Okay, so my new thermostat is in. You'll notice the pins facing up. That allows air to escape. And so I put it in exactly the way the other one was in. Just going to show you the housing again. If you remember, it's faced like this, so the screws are very difficult to get to. So, like I said, it's good to have some different options available to you. I cleaned this out with a rag, and then I cleaned the face of that before I got the thermostat. Put the thermostat in. I cleaned it as best I could to get all the moisture I could off the face. And so I'm going to start putting this thing back together, and then I'll show you how I clean I've already cleaned my throttle body, but I'll show you how to clean that. Okay, I got my 2 screws in. Put it in with just a hand wrench. Now I have to take this screw out. Well, I guess before that I can just plug my sensor back in. And you hear it click. And then I got to take the screw out and put the ground back on. I'm going to leave you again to do that. Okay, the hose is back in place. The ground's back in place, the sensor's back in place, and screws back in place and everything like that. But I wanted to show you real quick while I had this all out. I used carburetor cleaner and sprayed it on a rag over here. Show you what I got out of there. And I've cleaned this about 2 years ago. I cleaned that, so this is something you ought to do every so often. And really quickly, sprayed it on a rag, put it down into there, just wiped all around. This right here, with the other hand, you could push it in and out to actually open it up to get behind the valve itself and actually wipe on the valve. I wipe everything, and that's the kind of crud that I get off of it. Okay, I've got it filled back up. Honda has their own fluid. I use their fluid for everything. I use all their fluid for anything I do. Just think it's safe. And I know the transmission. I've had some experience using. Lesson learned on that one. So anyway, I actually made my own funneling system to make sure I didn't spill anything, and got it filled up. I'm running it right now. I take both hoses and I squeeze them to try to get some of the air out. You can see if I take the funnel out. Here I have got the air out. I might put a little bit more in now. You can see it a little bit better here. As I squeeze the hose, lets a little bit more back in, a little more in at a time. The mechanics have a more sophisticated way of getting the air out. This is mine, so I'm sure there's a better way to do it. So all y'all good mechanics out here, don't be saying bad things. But anyway, this is the way I do it. I put a little bit at a time. One more thing. When you buy these, buy 2 gallons because it will take more than one. It'll take just a tad more than one. Okay, so happy days. My gauge is showing that it's getting up to temperature. The heater's not affecting it. I got hot air and I'm feeling pretty good about this. So that's the end of the story.